Rice is often credited with reviving the supernatural genre. She is best known for her hugely popular Vampire Chronicles and the Mayfair Witch series. Her latest novel, Violin, is a ghost story. It is her 18th book and tells the tale of a woman, a ghost, and a violin. The three travel through centuries and continents haunted by memories and grief and each other. I am pleased to have Anne Rice back for her 10th appearance on this broadcast. Welcome back.
Thank you, Charlie. It's a great pleasure to be here, as always.
18 books, is it?
18 books. That's scary, isn't it?
It is
That's
scary
in itself.
And when I look ahead at the projects you're doing, it's just mind-boggling.
Well, I have to do this to myself.
Why?
I have to keep all the pressure on. I don't know.
Can't
I
you
don't know,
just-
but I love life this way. You know, a perpetual near-death experience.
Is that what it
Everything
is?
vivid. Yes, 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 yes.
Are you ever at home in New Orleans?
Oh, yeah. I'm at home all the time writing. I've been home all year, as a matter of fact. This is one of my first trips out. We didn't go on tour this year. I stayed home and wrote. I'm working on another book for next year, and there's already another one to be published in the spring. And, of course, Violin really did me in. They all do me in. No, but this one in particular did me in.
Is this your house here, 1239?
That's my house, 1239 First Street, yeah. Everybody in New Orleans knows where it is.
The big mansion is behind that gate, eh?
Well, that's the house I live in, which is used in the Witching Hour novels. The house that's in Violin is actually on 3rd and St. Charles. It's our Mardi Gras house. Come down and see us at Mardi Gras. We have open house to the world.
I'm not sure I can handle that.
Oh, it's great. It's really great.
If you go there, you're the person to be with.
Absolutely, absolutely. 3rd and St. Charles.
It only took you a month to write this book?
It took a month, but there was an enormous amount of preparation. I had been to Rio de Janeiro, and the whole book had come to me while I was staying there at the old Copacabana Hotel.
What happened? A little experience there?
Everything came together. I mean, I had just seen the movie Immortal Beloved, been pitched back into my love of music, and went down to Copacabana, and I don't know, everything came together. I began to be able to think back and remember the time when I wanted desperately to play the instrument and didn't have any talent for it, and I began to conceive of this woman who was really haunted by a ghost who played the violin. You know, this ghost appears on the corner of 3rd and St. Charles, right outside my house. I am the woman, Triana, 3 times Anne Rampling, Anne Roquelaure, Anne Rice. Okay, I'm in the house. I hear that violinist, and the violinist starts to produce unbelievable pinnacles of emotion and depths of emotion. And pretty soon I realize that the price of this beautiful music is madness. And I'm going to jump now. It's not really Triana. It's a fictional character, Triana. Triana then begins to battle with this ghost because she knows more than he does about what he's doing.
So this is where the idea came from?
Yeah, it all happened
one
down
night
there in
Rio.
And, well, I wrote it down over about 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
I would come back to the room every night. You know, we'd run around Rio in the day. We'd go to Sugarloaf Mountain, Corcovado, the rainforest. I'd come back and I'd write just numbered scenes, like 1, Triana does this, 2. Longhand. I had only
no computer,
longhand.
just longhand.
I can't use those little fold-up jobs. You know, I have to have my big machine. In any event, when I came home, I had the whole thing done in those notes. And so the month was really like the performance, just getting to the keyboard and going, you know. So you can't say it was a month. It was, in a way, all your life and a month.
And the story is?
Well, the story is what happens with Triana and what happens with Stefan Stevanovic, this ghost. They have a battle and a love affair of sorts all the way to the end of the novel. And the novel, I think, is pretty well resolved. I can't see this as a series.
Now, did I read this was like at one time 600 pages or something? And
Oh,
you
no,
pared
no,
away?
no,
No, it's always been about this size.
No, it's about that long, yeah. I usually come up with one fair copy at the end, and that goes to the publisher. I edit and condense and cut and revise as I go along. I just work very intensely. And then when I press that button and print out, that's it. That's the only copy that really exists, and then off it goes. Then, of course, I can keep pressing that button, keep pressing it.
You don't show it to anybody while you're writing these things? It's just...
No, if I'm going to make a fool of myself, I'm going to do it on my own. Now, I'm 56. And
So
if I don't know how to write now,
Yeah, it's hard to say.
it's
If you don't
time
know how to do it now,
open
might
a
as well.
restaurant.
or something. You send it to the editor. Do they fool around with it much?
No, they don't fool around with it at all. I have a wonderful editor, Victoria Wilson, and we came to an understanding a long time ago that she wouldn't touch the manuscript or change a word. And so,
Wait a minute. Come on. See, there's something wrong here.
No.
There's something wrong here.
Wait, what do you mean? What are you
You have an
about?
understanding with the editor she will not touch?
Absolutely.
Why do you have an editor?
I have an editor to respond to the book,
To tell you whether it's good or not?
publish the book, to produce the book, to fight for 9 months through the house, whether it's Knopf or Random House or whatever it is, to get the thing published, to choose that cover.
Like
Look at that cover. That Victoria Wilson chose that. Now, that's nothing to sniff at.
Oh, she did this?
That's Saint Sebastian. She didn't paint it, but she chose
I know that
it.
she chose
You're being rough today. You're in a bad mood, aren't you? You're being a bit unusual. No, look, editors don't have to change what you write. They really don't. Do you think Pavarotti's voice teacher gets on the record with Pav? I mean, like it gets thin, and the voice teacher jumps in and goes, ah.
No, here's what I think. Every writer can be improved.
Oh, no. I don't want to be improved, nor do I want to read an improved writer.
Really?
When I read Hemingway, I want Hemingway. When I read Dickens, I want Dickens.
Hemingway used to edit himself 32. Hemingway was one of the great editors of all time, and he edited himself like crazy.
Hemingway, Anne Rice, whatever.
Anne Rice,
sure.
If Anne Rice, if anybody's going to touch your prose,
where does this prejudice come from? That you need somebody to change your work. But this surrounds the whole writing profession. Like, let's take this violinist that inspired me, Leila Josefowicz. Yeah. You know, violinist I dedicate the book to.
Right.
Do you think anybody jumps in and dubs in another instrument with Leila?
No,
That's
I don't.
what editing is. They want to change your words. You can't
let
them do it.
I do think. I think probably she has someone that she can go to and listen to her play and make suggestions as to how she can play it better.
Well, she's 19. I'm 56. No, I've got to do it all myself. It's just the way I am.
Just drawing out of sight of your personality that we all know is there.
What about Enrico Caruso? I don't ever remember hearing about anybody telling him what to do.
Oh, I bet you he took
there in the
suggestions
streets of
before.
Naples.
Oh, come on.
Oh, why
when did you get to be this prima donna?
What
did you get to be?
Why are you doing this to me? Why did editing come up today? This is the 18th book. Don't you think you should have started this about book 12 or 13?
I thought we talked enough about bisexuality in other interviews.
Look at that cover again. That's all the bisexuality you'll ever need.
Is this the most personal work of fiction for you?
Nope. No, yes, it is. It absolutely is.
It absolutely is. So what's so personal about this? What is it we hear and see?
Well, when you put it that way, actually, it's set in the house where I grew up. It's set in the house I own. The woman in it is a person who's been through many deaths and griefs. She's a person who loves music and has no talent for music. Moi. I would have needed a violin teacher forever if I had played the violin.
Right.
Talk about editing.
Did you know? You knew. You recognized that you had no.
Yeah, I was 15,
talent.
and I saw Isaac Stern at the Municipal Auditorium and went to heaven and the pawn shop and bought a violin.
Yes.
And then I got the best teacher in New Orleans to teach me for almost nothing. And she said, honey, you can't hear quarter tones. You will never be a great violinist.
Exactly.
She said, you can join the orchestra by the time you finish college, but you will never be center stage.
Yes.
And I wanted to be center stage. And it was an agony, and I gave it up. I would never have been anything but mediocre.
Just take me through, please, the parallels between Triana and you.
God, Charlie, you are really in a strange mood. Just take you through, okay? Well, she's potentially a tormented genius, as am I. She needs to be liberated through the supernatural, as do I.
Yeah.
She's grieving in a great big mansion, as do I. She lives in New Orleans, as do I. She sees ghosts, as do I. And she comes out a winner.
And you call me strange?
No, it was an agony to write.
Why?
An
because
existential
it's so
agony.
Personal? Really?
Yeah, it was.
What was
Would
the
I write something that wasn't an agony? Would I waste your time?
No, exactly. What that ought to be paramount in your consideration.
It is, actually. It is. Well, it's not a bad exercise to sit there and think, what would Charlie Rose think of this?
Exactly
What
right.
will we talk about if I don't do a good job on this book?
Exactly.
And you still don't trust me? You want the editor to edit the book? I mean, you, of all people. Jeez, it's disillusioning.
I just never heard of an arrangement between an author and an editor which says you will not touch any word of my book.
It's not that uncommon.
Is that right?
No, I mean, there are all kinds of writers. That's the thing about being a writer. I mean,
there's so many other things. I'm going to let that.
Let it go.
I want to go back to the personal stuff. I want to learn something about
back to the personal stuff.
I want to know something about you that we don't know. I want to know something that's juicy and insightful and
Read
sort
that
of
book.
tells me who.
I lived every word of it.
Ah.
No, I tell everybody everything about me. I've told you most more than I tell most people.
I know.
Ad nauseum.
I know.
I mean,
That's why I always invite you back.
But what can I tell you about me that nobody knows?
I don't know. You
There's
tell
nothing.
me. Was anything hard here? Was anything?
Yeah, it was real hard
What
to
was
write
hard?
about. Well, it was hard to write the scenes about Triana's mother, the alcoholic mother. It was hard to write about the roughness of life in 1947, the dust, the dirt, the roaches, the standards of living in a city like New Orleans at that time. It was hard to write about the loneliness of being in a house with a parent that's completely drunk. It was difficult to write that. And I did. So, you know, most people confront these kind of demons in their first novel. They go back and have to apologize to their family at the family reunion. But I did this in the 18th novel. Now you got me. You see, you're a vampire, you. You got the blood, just what you wanted.
What's the battle between Triana and Stefan?
He wants to drive her crazy. He wants the music to produce a fruitless guilt, an unimportant and trivial guilt that will feed only him. And Triana realizes when this happens that her own life has been devoted far too much to this kind of guilt. And she sees this ultimate pitfall, and she says, no, I'm not going to let this happen to me. So she begins to fight him, and at one point she actually grabs the violin from him, and the violin, though it's a spectral violin, doesn't disintegrate. It stays solid, and she finds that she's able to improvise on it without an editor telling her what to do or changing a note. So she's able really to throw her passion into this instrument and to bring something spontaneous out of it. And so after that, she won't give back the violin. And she and the ghost begin a different kind of battle. He drags her back into Vienna in the past, where he was made a ghost, and he tries to demonstrate to her that he has a right to this instrument and she has no right to it.
Was it hard to find the right
violinist?
Mm-hmm. You listened to a lot of music, didn't you?
Yeah, I came across Leila Josefowicz when I was listening to a lot of CDs, really just for inspiration. I was listening to everybody, the old guys, you know, Jascha Heifetz and Isaac Stern and Yehudi Menuhin, and then also I wanted to hear some of the new violinists, and I just happened upon Leila. And she had a recording out of the Tchaikovsky Concerto for Violin and Orchestra, and it was absolutely fabulous. She had terrific power, terrific authority, and terrific passion.
And what'd you do then?
Well, I listened to her over and over again. After I wrote, before I wrote, sometimes even during the time that I was writing. And then when the book was finished and in, I took steps to get in touch with her so that I could bring her down to New Orleans, perhaps, and introduce her to the readers, have a concert for her. And to my amazement, I found out that I could afford to do that and that she was willing to come. So we're going to have a concert with her on November 2nd in New Orleans.
And we're going to meet her here right now. Roll tape. This is Leila in performance here on this set a few minutes ago. Here it is. Joining us now, Leila Josefowicz. Welcome. Is it Leila or Lila? It's Leila.
Leila.
Okay.
Doesn't really matter.
So tell me about the experience of hooking up with Anne Rice.
It was really stunning. Someone like you, Anne. I mean, you're so fabulous. You're so famous.
It's unbelievable to me.
It's just...
Just trying to pay back because you thought I was... Go ahead.
It's really amazing that you can reach out and be really interested in someone else's work. I mean,
Leila.
it's very... I mean...
When I hear that music, when I hear that incredible power coming out of the instrument, it's something I want to pay homage to. Homage? Homage?
Homage.
Homage. Homage. Okay. I want to pay homage to it.
Yeah.
Well, I understand. I mean, you have your inner voice, and I have mine, and we all just try to let it speak.
Exactly.
When did you start playing the violin?
When I was about 3 years old. It was just meant to be. Nothing serious, just a hobby. I mean,
When did they first know? Excuse me, Charlie. When did they first know that you were just really going to take off? You know, in that magic tone.
So you need another show of your own. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It was just probably after 3 years or something. I mean, I think I even realized when I started out how bad I sounded, and it's just a really long process to go through. I mean,
But your parents enrolled you in that program, didn't you?
in the Suzuki method,
program,
right? Yeah, they started me on everything. I mean, I mean, a lot of people ask me, so how did you choose violin? And I didn't choose at all. I mean,
you had other instruments, huh?
No, they knew I loved music, but that's really all they knew, and they chose violin, and I'm really glad you chose violin. Thank you.
What's the nature of the collaboration here, other than the fact that you were promoting her, and
well, there actually
this
isn't.
book is called Violin. And
There isn't any collaboration, I don't think, except that she inspired me, even when I hadn't met her,
and you
through
feel
the CDs.
indebted, therefore?
Not really indebted, but we talked about, and everybody around us really wanted us to do a CD that included a lot of her performance work that some she'd already recorded and some not, I think, and titled this Violin for Anne Rice. It's like an anthology of what she's done, of what she's accomplished, of some of the finest things, and particularly those things that I like and things that appeal to me. And I was all for it. I couldn't believe a legitimate violinist was going to put her name on a CD with mine. This was like the childhood dream was suddenly incarnated in Leila, and she was willing to put her name there. It was great. It was like the end of some sort of terrible drama, tragedy for me that had started at 15. Suddenly I'm in my living room, and here's this 19-year-old with the gift from God, and she's playing this music, and they say, she would like to gather together these pieces in a CD and call it Violin for Anne Rice. Great moment. It was a great moment. It was not entirely without pain. It was kind of a painful moment.
Why?
I don't know. Because she could do the thing that I wanted to do, and she did it so beautifully. But it was an exquisite, painful moment.
Yeah, I read somewhere that you no longer sort of fear death.
No, I don't fear it at all. Hit me, buddy. No, I don't fear it.
You've gone through enough death.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. I no longer fear it, and I feel closer to an acceptance of it, I guess, than I've ever felt in my life. But that comes with age, don't you think?
I wouldn't know. Do you have any premonitions?
No, I don't have any premonitions. I really don't. I just live every day and make plans that are about, for the next month, the next week. Yeah, how much money to get through Christmas, that kind of thing.
It's a problem when you've sold as many books as you've sold.
Well, it's not the way it seems.
What are you working on next?
I'm working on a book called Armand. And it's
right.
about the vampire Armand. It'll be out in the fall next year. And it actually involves music, too. It involves a pianist that I have not met yet. I don't know the pianist, and she keeps playing the Beethoven sonata that's called the Appassionata.
So will you do the same thing? Will you go out and get every pianist playing Beethoven you can find? Every CD you can find? Every piece of music you can find?
I am doing that. I am.
Looking for somebody who plays it just right for you?
Yeah, I am. I have. I will. But I don't expect to find another Leila. That comes once in a lifetime.
And you? What's next for you?
Well, I'm basically playing a lot.
And home is where?
Home is here in New York. I just moved here from Philly. It's great. I love it.
Thank you for coming.
Thank
it's a pleasure
you.
to have you on the
Thank you very
broadcast.
much.
And as always, it's great to have you.
Thank you, Charlie.
It really is.
This has been wonderful.
It has been wonderful.
It has.
Now, see, people are going to think that you're mad at me. And that's
No, I'm not mad at
that's,
you. I love you. I love
You don't want to leave them with the wrong impression.
No.
Anne Rice's book is called Violin. The CD is called Violin for Anne Rice. We thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night. See you then.